This is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shelly. So, I had my baby. She came early. I'm gonna be telling you guys my birth story in this video, so stick around if you want to hear that, and also stick around if you want to hear my New Year's resolution and why I chose them. I feel like I need to do a sit down video before I just dive right back into YouTube and get more serious about it, so welcome. So, my birth story. November 20th, we welcomed Sophia Grace. We welcomed her. Beautiful, beautiful thing, but unfortunately she had to go to the NICU. Backtracking some. The Thursday, before that Monday, the Thursday, I went to the hospital in the morning because my water broke. I didn't know if my water broke. Actually, I think I woke up, I peed, got back into bed, and felt like this trickling of water running down my thighs. And then I shout out to my husband. I was like, I think I just peed myself. I literally got up and just psh, and I was like, I think I peed myself. And he came out and he was like, that's not pee. I think your water broke. At this point, the weeks leading to this point, I had just started to get things done for her. I was just finishing the nursery. Not even done. I didn't even fully pack a hospital bag. I just started the process. So that goes to show, do not listen to people when they tell you to, oh, wait till 36, 38 weeks to pack the bag. Don't stress. I would strongly urge you to pack the bag whenever you feel it's necessary. So, water ruptured, went to the hospital. They did a specific test to make sure it was my water that broke. I'm not sure what the test was called, but that itself took a little bit. I hate emergency rooms. But after that test, I was admitted because of high risk for infection for not only me, but the baby. They got me a room a couple hours later. At this point, I was so tired. I was running high on anxiety and so much. I couldn't even eat. They ended up giving me 2 steroid shots to help mature her lungs because it was not where it needed to be. And that itself was, I think, one of the scariest part and most frustrating part, because for me, I'm like, I did not get an easy pregnancy, and I felt like I couldn't catch a break. And for some reason, I had convinced myself in my mind that leading up to birth was going to be the amazing story I can get to tell. It is amazing, no doubt, but in a different way, in a different light, very easy, I want to say. And it was anything but that. It was chaotic, it was emotional, it was just so much happening. After I was admitted, I spent most night in the hospital crying alone. I had to send my husband home. He didn't really have a place to sleep in the room. It was very uncomfortable. He had work, and nothing was happening. They were preventing me from having contractions because my contractions did start. I was in active labor, and they were trying to prevent me from having contractions, so nothing was progressing. And so I sent him home, and I would literally spend nights crying. There was this one specific nurse where she came in and I was crying, and she helped comfort me, and she's like, yeah, I know this sucked. This is not something, anyone would or should go through. And she's like, I know that, and we're here for you. And of course they had to ask their medical questions, like if you're suicidal, all of that. And I wasn't. I'm not. And I answered truthfully, and I just kind of felt better just having someone to talk to. I think a part of me was really frustrated that I kept getting poked. They kept taking blood. I was nicked every time. I was hooked up to everything. I had these bands checking for baby's heart rate and stuff. While I was very grateful for modern day technology that allowed us to actively try and save my baby's life and also pay attention to my health, it was very frustrating being I couldn't get comfortable. It was the straps around my belly. I felt like I was suffocating. There's so many ways to describe it, and I don't know. It was just wild. Leading up to Monday, if I'm not mistaken, I called my husband Monday morning and I said, you need to come here now. This is around 6 a.m. I'm like, you need to come now. I'm having this baby today. I'm having contractions. The contractions started 2 a.m. in the morning. and I kept telling them, and they would give me more and more stuff, and my body was just ready. She was ready to be here. She was ready to be Earthside, and there was nothing the doctors or I could have done to change that. And we had talked about the epidural and stuff. I ended up getting the epidural. Best decision ever. Even though I did not get the full effect of the epidural because they did it in small dosage. I started off with the smallest amount, and I didn't really have time for him to come back down and to increase that dosage, but it was a very comfortable dosage. I literally did not feel a lot of pain. I still felt pain, but I didn't feel like nearly as bad as I did before. It was very hard staying still for the epidural because I was shaking so much from the contractions. They were already like prolonging so far. And after being checked for my cervix, not even an hour later, I was 8 centimeter dilated, and my doctor came in and he checked himself, and he said I was 8, and he's just like, okay, we don't have to wait till 10. And I started pushing, and I'm convinced by the time I started pushing, I was 10, because I felt this pain. It's undescribable. I can't describe it. It was so painful. This is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. And so I started pushing. If I'm not mistaken, it only took me 10 minutes for her to get here. So 4 days of trying to stop labor, active labor, and 10 minutes for her to make it. And it was pushing, and the contractions were coming, and at one point my doctor had even backed up on his stool and had a conversation with all the nurses, waiting for the next contraction. And by the time he'd started the conversation, I'm like, there's another one, and he's like, whoa, already? And that was the one where she came out. And she spent 2 weeks and 3 days in the NICU. That was very hard. Again, I felt like I could just not catch a break. At one point, I was just asking God why. And I don't think people understood. I think I was so stressed out during my pregnancy, worrying about people. I was so stressed out during birth, worrying about people. I was just, I don't know. To me personally, for my next pregnancy, I will not be telling anyone. Of course, just my husband. But I will not be telling anyone. I just want to, if it's going to be a difficult pregnancy like this one, I just want to enjoy the little time or the little bits and pieces of it I can without people taking that away from me. And the same for birth. So many people felt entitled, like they needed to be here right away, and it just made me feel so stressed out. Yeah, fast forward to now, she's home, she's healthy, and I'm so grateful. And now on to my New Year's resolution. So if you guys have any questions about birth or anything, I will truthfully answer down below, so comment. My New Year's resolution, the first one for me that I'm really excited about trying to make, I'm not sure if I will, but I will try my best, is to read 25 books at least this year. I'm really excited for that goal because I used to love reading growing up, and now I haven't been able to do it as much in my adult life. I just don't have the time, and I want to kind of like put aside that time. The second New Year's resolution I have is to be more confident in myself, because I feel like a lot of things can be accomplished if I have more confidence. The third thing is to be firm in my boundaries and everything that I've learned in therapy, that I've taken with me, especially towards the end of 2023. I want to be more firm in my boundaries, not just for me, but for my child too, because at the end of the day, a life lived where everyone is happy with you and everyone is like, you haven't pissed anyone off, is not a life well lived, I wouldn't think. My husband and I are not a huge fan in exploiting children for personal gain, especially because she cannot give us permission. And maybe later in life she'll be a private person, and I don't want to take that privacy away from her before she can even speak.